King17 here, and today I will be making a top 10 most dangerous NFL teams in the 2017 playoffs. And so in this game, I'm sorry, I just saw Logan Paulson and I almost died. So as you can see, I won't be playing. There's a robot playing, and it will be my two favorite teams playing on the screen right now. My two favorite teams, the New York Giants being number 2 and the Chicago Bears being number 1. So let's get this thing started. So my number 10 team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Simply, the Tampa Bay's defense is going to keep them in just about every game. The Bucs have ridden to their D to 7 wins in the last 9 weeks, and takeaways are a huge reason. Tampa Bay created 23 turnovers in those 9 games, and it's tied for the league lead overall. Jameis Winston has helped evaluate the expectations of the entire locker room, and he has a big play target and wide receiver at Mike Evans. The front 7 can collapse a pocket and harass quarterbacks into an awful days like Russell Wilson's nightmare a few weeks ago. It's too soon for the Bucs to win a Super Bowl, but you wouldn't want to face them next month. So the Buccaneers, they are just unbelievable. They killed the Bears 36-10. Then they're going on all these missions, beating the Seahawks, and just doing all these great things. They have so for this I will have a good quarterback X factor, best player, quarterback, running back, receiver, X factor, and worst player. So the quarterback, obviously their quarterback is Jameis Winston, number 3. Great quarterback, can run the ball, he can throw down he can terrorize offenses. He can terrorize defenses and get that ball. So the receiver is obviously Mike Evans, the very tall, 6'3", 6'4", big. He's powerful. He can go up and get you. And their rusher obviously is Doug Martin, number 22. Missed some of the year, returned against the Bears, clobbered them, just rushed all over them, and made them look disgusting. So yeah, and their X factor. Sorry about that. And their X factor. Their X factor is Quan Alexander. In the past year, his older brother died, and he had that one great game where he did get that pick, but it was called back. Oh boy. So it was called back, but he had a great game, necessarily but he's an X factor. You don't realize how good this guy is in coverage. He can cover tight ends. He can cover everyone on that field. He is just one of the best zone coverage tight end middle linebackers in the league. And a player that I'm worried about on this team is definitely, I don't have a player that I have to worry about. Oh yeah, the player that you have to worry that has not been doing so well is Vincent Jackson. He hurt himself, but he will be a player to worry about coming back in the playoffs. So number 9, the Seattle Seahawks. I won't be doing an X factor and I won't do a X factor and a bad player anymore. 9, the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks just doesn't seem to be the team from the previous years, but could find itself in the driver's seat for the 2 seed in the NFC with the Lions loss this weekend. The Seahawks roster is depleted by injuries like Earl Thomas and defections in free agency. Plus, the Seahawks brass just hasn't hit home. Runs the last 3 drafts, but it's still extremely rare for any road team to win up in Seattle. And the team still has enough players that have played in 2 Super Bowls to lead it back there. Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in the league. Any team with Russell Wilson, Jimmy Graham, Richard Sherman, and Cam Chancellor will always have to stay in the NFC playoffs. So their quarterback is Russell Wilson. He can escape, he can roll in the pocket, and he can complete receiving. Their receiver, their best receiving person is the man you probably know, Jimmy Graham. Had 2 great catches, that one-handed catch against, I think it was the Patriots. Great player. And the rusher, Thomas Rawls. Number 8, the Atlanta Falcons. The explosiveness of the offense, combined with their first Abraham, makes the Falcons an intriguing team next month. If Atlanta wins the NFC South, the home game will be a tough matchup for any opponent. Matt Ryan has taken his game to the next level, and the combo of Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu is a dangerous 1-2 punch. Devontae Freeman and Trevin Coleman give Atlanta a nice combo backfield, and Vic Beasley has become a one-man wrecking crew coming off the defensive edge. It's not hard to imagine them giving fits to the Cowboys' defense in the playoffs. And their quarterback is Matt Ryan, running back, the rusher, Devontae Freeman, and the receiver is Julio Jones. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. This may seem too low for a team that has the best record all season, but Dallas is lucky it's playing in the NFC. The conference has flawed teams across the playoff picture. Cowboys are one of the best teams. The Giants gave the rest of the league the roadmap on how to beat Dallas, although few squads have the talent to do it on defense. And also, the Giants did beat the Cowboys 10-7 on Sunday Night Football. Who remembers that? That was amazing. And they beat them in Week 1, so Giants are going to give them a lot of problems. And Dak has his rookie moments, and Dallas pass rush is missing too much of the time. Secondary isn't good enough to cover for long stretches, so a team with an explosive passing attack can hang chunk plays on them. I think Green Bay, Atlanta, Detroit, the Bucs, Seahawks, and the Giants defense all have the ability to stifle the Cowboys offense. That means there isn't anyone in the playoffs, which will be a cakewalk for Dallas. I predict the Cowboys not to be an NFC rep for the Super Bowl 51. Number 6, the Kansas City Chiefs. I love the way the Chiefs are built for the playoffs. Complete defense, stellar secondary, elite pass rush, and big play passing targets. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, they have a quarterback who was within an OT field goal on leading his team to the Super Bowl 11 in 2011. And a coach who has led his teams to 5 conference championship games. The Chiefs also have one of the best of the fierce home fields in all football, Arrowhead Stadium. So my brain says Kansas City is extremely dangerous in the playoffs. My heart says Andy Reid's controversial play calling. Of course, the New England is near the top of this list because they still have a savviest coach in the league and a champion quarterback playing sublime football yet. Again, the Patriots don't have Gronk, one of the greatest January targets in NFL history. Belichick traded Jamie Collins to the Cleveland Browns, which has somewhat left a void in the linebacker unit, especially in coverage. But the Patriots will never beat themselves. We'll do a little things right and make you play a near-perfect game to beat them. Can they be beaten? Of course. But in a game where they aren't many, if any, great teams, who's going to step up and do that? I think the Giants could step up and do that because the Giants' pass rush is just way too much for a team like that. And the Oakland Raiders can step up and beat them. Number 4, just talked about them, the Oakland Raiders. Oakland has a chance to take out any teams in the playoffs because of their sheer talent. Derek Carr is one of the best late-game quarterbacks in the league. Amari Cooper is one of the toughest receivers to cover. Khalil Mack is the most difficult pass rushers to block. Of course, switching to defensive line. The Raiders have the goods, but inexperience worries me here. As well as they averse the cold weather, the Raiders looked out of sorts in a frigid Arrowhead, and unless they win home field, the silver and black will be freezing blue in Foxborough, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, or Denver. Oakland will beat them, whoever comes out of the AFC South. But beyond that, it might depend on where that game is played and whether Carr's pinky injury keeps nagging him. And by the way, for this, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Number 3 on my list. I know I hate the Green Bay Packers, but they're too good. They're 7-6 now, and they just come from a 4-6 deficit, and they have probably one of the worst defense in the whole league, the Chicago Bears, who are obviously 3-10. But don't sleep on the Bears, because they almost beat the Giants, they almost beat the Lions, and they did beat the Minnesota Vikings, so don't sleep on them. So number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's season looked all but lost at 4-6 after a dreadful performances against Washington, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. Since then, 3 straight wins, including a beatdown on the Seahawks last week, where everything went right. Plus, they are 3 winnable games in front of them. Who would want to face the NFL's preseason Super Bowl favorite on a 6-game win streak? Especially having to go to Lambeau in the first round is a huge if. But if Aaron Rodgers has clicked into all-system-go mode, how many of the NFC defenses can slow him down? Packers' defense is not great. It may definitely undo them in, but creating some turnovers in short field, like last week, plays perfectly into their offense. Packers potentially is what we saw versus Seattle. Can they beat anyone in the league? Alright, number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers. As much as I don't like the Steelers, I feel they can be just that one team that can win the Super Bowl, who can just win it all. Pittsburgh always had the elite talent to win a Super Bowl. We just didn't know if they would be healthy at the same time. And if the team was interested in complete effort, the dog food performances against the Eagles and the Dolphins this season made you wonder whether they were feeling of entitlement lurking. Did the Steelers feel like they could roll into the stadium from a night on the town at 10A and just walk over the opponents? But any team with Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell has the weapons to take down anyone in the playoffs. They have a coach who has been to 2 Super Bowls and won a Lombardi. One stop with 40 seconds left against Dallas would have changed the complexion of the season drastically, but the Steelers have rattled off 4 straight wins since then. And if all those matchups Pittsburgh dominated most of them, the Steelers have a chance to finish on a 7-game win streak and get at least one home playoff game. Who wants to play them home or away in the playoffs? The answer? Nobody. So we will have one honorable mention before number 1, and another long video, sorry about that. And here's our honorable mention, the Detroit Lions. If Matthew Stafford hadn't injured a finger on his throwing hand, I would have Detroit higher on this list. The quarterback has turned into a gutty leader, total gamer in the 8th season. He's an MVP candidate and has an uncanny knack this year for last-second heroics. The Lions have won 8 of their last 9, and their defense is overlooked. It's held 7 straight opponents to 20 points or less. I don't have much confidence in Jim Caldwell in January, but a healthy Stafford would make Detroit a tough out. And number 1, the New York Giants. This ranking probably would have been number 2, but since the win over Dallas Cowboys. But New York's offense effort that night was impressive. Steve Spagnuolo's game plan was perfect in containing Dak Prescott. The defensive line is bolstered in the offseason by big-ticket free against Olivier Vernon and Damon Stacks Harrison quieted Ezekiel Elliott, who I hate. The Giants secondary completely shut down the passing lanes of all night outside of Terrence Williams' busted play for the touchdown. They have Landon Collins, great player, great coverage, a lot of picks this year. They have one of the best shutdown corners in the league, Janoris Jenkins, and perhaps it has the best safety in the league, Landon Collins. New York's offense is great right now. The Giants can't press protect nor run the ball. Sorry, but wait, did I say they can run the ball? They can run the ball. I don't know. They can run the ball. They're very capable of running the ball. They have Rashad Jennings, Bobby Rainey, and in the meanwhile, they're getting Shane Vereen. The Giants will likely make it to the Super Bowl, but that defense gives them the dangerous X factor, can flummox any offense in the NFC. So those are my top 10 dangerous teams in the 2017 playoffs. And of course, number 1 was my second favorite team, the New York Giants. I just feel like they have enough talent to do this. And I'm sorry for the rest I didn't mention. Their quarterback, running back, and receiver. So their quarterback, Eli Manning, gonna be in the Hall of Fame 1 year. 1 day, 1 year, it doesn't matter. And their running back, Shane Vereen. Shane Vereen can run the ball, he can catch the ball, he can do all sorts of things. The receiver, obviously Odell Beckham Jr. You saw what he did against the Cowboys, catching that 61-yard touchdown slant against the Dallas Cowboys in that Sunday night 10-7 victory. Their best pass rusher, obviously with Jason Pierre-Paul, their best pass rusher, going down injury reserve for the rest of the year. But they still have enough talent off the edge, having Kevin Kennard, Olivier Vernon, and they have great shutdown cornerbacks. As in Janoris Jenkins, Leon Hall, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and Leon Hall. All 4 of them, great coverage. You saw what Janoris did against Dez, making a lot of great plays, and saw a lot of great shutdown plays. And you saw what Landon Collins did, game-winning picks against. You saw what he did in London against the Los Angeles Rams. And you saw what he did against the Bears, getting that game-winning pick. So right now, my gunner for the Super. So you may be wondering who's going to make the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the rematch from 2007, the rematch from 2011, the New York Giants versus the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51 in Houston, Texas this year. So those were my top 10 dangerous teams going into the 2017 playoffs. And that's my last video on the day. Hope you guys are doing great. So see you guys later.